Hello there, humans. I am Del Cecil Bruno, the partially blind alien who is an own voices author, aka the Ace from Space. I write primarily sci-fi, but I like to explore other genres with my short stories, and I also write some poetry. Today I want to talk about something that I love to do for my writing, and is the playlist for my short story that's coming out this Halloween. This one is a thriller crime with a noir vibe. It's set in Iceland. It's called Danger. Yes, spelled that way. And this short story was born out of pure anger. You see why I spell it the way I spell it? Yes. I was in a situation where I had to control myself, bottle up my emotions. I was at a public place, one of my favorite cafes in Budapest at the time that this happened, and I had to bottle up my emotions and try my best to forget what was happening and focus on my writing, which was I was about to do before the situation unfolded. And I was, of course, taken out of my plans. Everything just made my mind spin, and I was just angry, and I had to figure out a mechanism to bottle it all up and calm down and maybe work on my writing like I planned to do. So what did I do? Well, I went to the bathroom, cried a little, went downstairs, ordered another round of palacinta, which is the Hungarian version of the crepes, and yeah, that was my favorite place. It was a 24-hour creperie where they served all kinds of palacinta, but I'm digressing. Whatever. So ordered another round of sweet palacinta, hot chocolate, everything to make my mood go up again, a little happy-ish. It didn't work, of course, but I was trying my best, and then the first thing I did was open Spotify and click on whatever that Spotify wanted to throw at me. And I ended up with the self-titled album from 2005 by Apocalyptica. So the Apocalyptica album, and just calm the crap down and write something. I didn't write anything that day, of course. I couldn't. But the idea was kind of planted like a seed in my mind. And like a month later, after I finished the rough draft for my romance short story, yeah, I was challenged to write a romance. That's how my romance short story happened. It was a writer friend who challenged me to do something like that. But right after I finished the romance, I was in the wave of, ooh, I finished a short, maybe I can write another. And this planted seed of anger that I had in my mind for like a month or so started sprouting, and this short story happened. And I remembered Apocalyptica, and I went to the song that kind of sparkled the whole thing. The song that made me go to my happy place, the song that made me visualize the location and even a little bit of the characters. And there I started writing, and in about a week I finished the whole thing thanks to this playlist that I was drafting the story, and at the same time I was creating the playlist. It was spontaneous. I don't even know how to describe it, but everything was falling into place like a puzzle, and I didn't have to make much effort. It was just coming to me. But then again, this story is very personal, so I'm not that surprised. It's just like, whoa, I was not expecting it, but I'm not that surprised. So, silly me, I recorded this video a while back. The problem is that I rambled with the songs in the background, and I shouldn't do that because copyright. So I'm just gonna give you a brief description of the songs, and you can listen to the playlist. It's gonna be linked in the description. That playlist exists in the homepage of my channel since way before I was discovered in the AuthorTube community or whatever. So it's always been there. It's part of my story since the very beginning. If you have heard of it already, it's because I have shared it before on social media, but anyway, it's going to be in the description. The story begins with the song called Farewell by Apocalyptica. That was the song that sparkled everything. And it's a melancholic song, instrumental. Sometimes they feature singers, but this one is instrumental. And it's closer to the tail end of the album. So by the time that this song came, I was already channeling everything that I was feeling. This is a song that kind of brought it all to life, I guess. So it starts with this melancholic cello and it goes in crescendo, and as the song progresses you can feel the rage, sort of. It's a very strange kind of farewell. It's a sad farewell, but there is something more there, and it's not pretty. It's dark, it's angry, it's passionate in a way. It's beautiful, and I think there was no other way for me to open that short story than titling it the same way that the song is titled, Farewell, in honor of Apocalyptica. My Finnish is coming out. I know the story is set in Iceland, but my Finnish is coming out. Hello. Anyway, love the song. Moving on. The next segment of the short story is called Uninvited, like the song by Alanis Morissette. And here I am finally showing that this is a multi-POV story. And you get to see one of the characters clearly, because the beginning with Farewell is quite ambiguous. You don't know yet who is talking and what is the story about, because that's part of the story. But then here in Uninvited you get to see Gulliver, who arrives in Iceland to solve a murder case. That's part of the blurb, so that's not a spoiler. He arrived in Iceland, he gets to the scene of the crime, and he has to do something about it, but he has to do it alone. It's a double meaning in a way, because the person who was killed has this uninvited label above their head, but the Gulliver is also an outsider. And in a way he feels uninvited, especially now that he realizes that things are becoming a little bit too personal. When I listen to Alanis' song, I see both things. I see the story that everybody will get to see with the scene of the crime, and also I get to see the secret scene, the deleted scene that, where I have this whole sequence when the person was murdered, and like how it happened and why it happened and all of this stuff. So that's like a deleted scene that maybe I will release maybe later on, or maybe just for Patreon, who knows. But when I listen to Alanis, I see both what you're gonna read and the other thing that I didn't want to show. And I didn't want to show it because dark is not necessarily a part of my band. Whoops. So, friend or foe is the next section, and here we switch to another character, and here this song by Tatu. How you pronounce this? Tatu? I don't know, but the Russian duet. This song is kind of, I wouldn't say immature, but it's a lot more youthful. The thing is, this fits so well with the story that I couldn't just try to find another song with another title. Friend or Foe is the perfect piece for this story puzzle. And I think it came to me while I was drafting this thing. It came to me thanks to a poem that I wrote way back. It's called Triggers. But near the end of the poem, there's a line that says, I saw the friend, you saw the foe, and you warned me from the sky. And I think this friend-foe thing reminded me of the Tattoo song, and this fits perfect for the kind of story that I'm telling now, and so it became the title for this segment. And part of the unofficial soundtrack, or official, since I'm the one who's making it. But anyway, it became part of the soundtrack for this. Nothing to salvage. You look away, clear all the damage, the meaning to our words of love has disappeared. Runaway by Linkin Park. And get used to this, there will be another Linkin Park song further down this playlist. Runaway is because the characters are literally having a runaway moment. Literally runaway. But this particular song by Linkin Park fits very well to the plot because of the lyrics. If you listen to the lyrics, you will hear this kind of connotation of the person feels guilty just by being associated to someone else who is a bad influence, and they would just want to get rid of this quote unquote run away and open up their mind and find themselves and all that kind of stuff instead of being around these toxic people and vicious circles of negativity and so on. So it fits perfect again. I don't know how, but the songs were just finding me, and this is no exception. Linkin Park has always been a part of my darkest days. Like whenever I'm down and whatever, I listen to Linkin Park because I feel more understood. And I suppose it reflects in how the playlist was created. Now, there is a song here by the Cranberries. It's called Still Can't. And there's no title because the title of the song makes no sense. And also, it was just a brief moment in the story where one of the characters is having a mental breakdown. And this song fits perfectly because the lyrics. It's like repeating the same thing over and over. It's very Cranberries. She used to do lyrics that were quite repetitive in the sense that she stays with a motive. And it reflects the mental state of one of the characters, and it's like, still can't recognize the way I feel. Nothing of what you said to me was real. And you still can't find a way to apologize. And that kind of thing. It's a kind of vicious circle again. It's a mental breakdown, and it fits so well that I had to add it to the playlist, even though you will not find a trace of that song in the story. But I am the writer, and I listened to that song while I was drafting just brief sequences, and it's there, and it's there. No problem. The next song is called Till It Happens to You by Lady Gaga. How did Lady Gaga end up in one of my stories? But this song is, again, very fitting. It's a masterpiece to me. It's one of my favorite songs by her, actually. I'm not a big fan of Gaga, but she made it into the story because it fits. Like, if it's a good song, it's a good song. And I love it. So the thing with this song is that one of the characters is going into a public place and there's a karaoke going on. And so one of the characters takes the space to sing and kind of claim their freedom, or, you know, like claim their space or whatever. I'm not going to give too much details, but Till It Happens to You fits so well that it seems like it was made for the story when in truth it wasn't. But it's one of those stories where this kind of topic arises, and even though the rest of the people who are listening to the person singing have no clue of what's going on, because, you know, that's what the story says and that's what the song says. It's like, till it happens to you, you don't know. It won't be real. It's just a myth. You know, you hear stories of things and you're like, oh yeah, wow. But until it happens to you, then things will take a new meaning once it's happening to you. Or hopefully, you know, it's not like I'm hoping that everybody goes through that kind of stuff, but until it happens, things will not have the same meaning. And I'm so happy that I could find a spot for that song, because it's very important and is one of the biggest messages from the story, so I'm happy it's there.
Till your world burns and crashes, till you're at the end of your rope, till you're standing in my shoes. I don't want to hear nothing from you, from you, from you, 'cause you don't know.
Final Masquerade by Linkin Park. I told you there was going to be another Linkin Park, and this one is one of those songs that maybe doesn't fit that well, or to me it does, but not in the context of the story, more like in a personal level, but I'm not going to talk about that. And I just love the title. The title of the song is what made it into the story because of plot reasons, and you'll get to see what I mean. But Final Masquerade is like, is this the end? You know, is it? So that's why it made it into the playlist. More the title than the lyrics this time, but also the mood of the song. The lyrics could be interpreted in different ways, so I'm just gonna leave it open-ended, and I say it fits my story. It fits with whatever it was that I was going through. I'm not telling you. But yeah, Linkin Park, as usual, being a fuel for my works in some way or another.
All I ever wanted, secrets that you keep. All you ever wanted, the truth I couldn't speak. 'Cause I can't see forgiveness, and you can't see the crime. And we both keep on waiting for what we left behind.
The next song is I Walk Alone by Tarja Turunen. Again, my Finnish is coming out. Whoops. We had Apocalyptica and now we have Tarja. I'm sorry. Not sorry. But anyway, I Walk Alone is maybe one of the most iconic songs by Tarja in her solo career after she split from the band. And wow, well, I Walk Alone has always been one of those songs that sticks with me for many reasons. But then after all the things that I went through, it really took another meaning. Well, life happens. And so I Walk Alone is another of those moments where one of the characters is like, well, I go solo now, for real. And, you know, it's a perfect soundtrack. You will get to see it in the story, otherwise I'm going to be spoiling the whole thing, and I should shut up because I don't want to spoil it. Sorry. And finally we have Nathura by Björk. Okay, Björk made it into my playlist, into my story. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be the cliche like, okay, Björk, you know, because Iceland. No. When you get to see the end of the story, Nathura fits. Because of the date, because of the song in itself, because of what the character is feeling at the time. And that song is frenetic. How do you describe that song? I don't know. You listen to it and you judge for yourself. It's very experimental, but again, that very strong sensation of anger is in there. In a way, it's raw, it's powerful. It has a little bit of anger in it. I feel it, at least that's how I feel about it. You know, it's very passionate, and because of the date where the final scene is taking place, I was like, Nathura, it just came to me and it stays. Sorry, I know Björk is like, oh, come on, couldn't you add another artist from Iceland that wasn't Björk? Well, I'm sorry, no. I have a special thing with her music ever since I watched Dancer in the Dark. I loved her before that, but after I watched Dancer in the Dark, everything changed and she became one of my biggest role models for how versatile she is. And her music in general is very dynamic. It doesn't have to be that I like every single thing that she does, because I don't. There are a couple of albums of hers that I'm like, not for me. But I still respect and appreciate everything that she has done, because she is not afraid to experiment and not afraid to take risks. And so it's a hint, and that's why I chose her to end the story with one of her songs. That's what I mean. And so it's a little bit of a hint too, because like, since I am the writer of this and Björk was the one who played a blind character in the film by Lars von Trier, it's a little bit of a hint. But like, it's a hint that only people who know me and know the whole thing about me and how I write, and you know, only they will get the hint and why Björk is there. But like, you know, an average reader who knows nothing about the story will not pick it up. But anyway, yeah, Nathura, just take a listen to this. There are other songs in this playlist. You will see The Hardest Part by Coldplay, and you will see Stupid Girls by Pink, and Die Young by Kesha. If you pay attention to the story and you read it, you will find out why those songs are there, but they are not segment titles. They are not like a changing POV title segment, whatever, so I didn't talk about them. And also, I cannot talk about them because spoilers. But anyway, that will make the entire playlist. I know it's what? All those songs for a short story? Yes, my story is quite musical. It's not a musical, but it's quite musical in the way that it was created and inspired. And so yeah, that's the playlist. I'm super hyped about this story. I love it. It means the world to me. I hope you enjoyed just as much as I did while I was writing and editing and, you know, preparing everything and recording the audio version. Oh god, it's been a ride. My microphone was having issues and that's why it's taking me forever, but I think I finally solved it. So the audio version is coming soon, just the very same day of the release. So this Halloween you will get the ebook, and for people who have a visual impairment or who would just prefer to listen to the narration, there comes the audiobook as well. Audiobook, or you know, the audio format. It's gonna be here on my YouTube channel, so if you are looking forward to that, you can subscribe and ring the bell so you will get it as soon as I upload it and all that stuff. I am terrible at asking for promotions, but I have to because the short story is coming out and I care deeply about it. So if you happen to be one of those who beta read, or you read it, or you saw it at some point and you would like to leave me a review, I'm also gonna link the Goodreads link below, so you can leave me a review, as well as the pre-order link if you're interested in this story for whatever reason, if you found this video because of the songs or whatever. If you're curious, I'm also gonna leave the link of the pre-order. So a special thanks as always to my beautiful Patreons for supporting me all the way through from the very beginning. I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. I appreciate you immensely. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching and listening and doing whatever you're doing while you play this video in the background. Thank you so much. This helps my channel a lot. So like and subscribe and all that. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.